All right, good morning all. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Trotman, has anyone signed up for public comment? Thank you very much. On agenda item 3, we have no cases to reconsider under agenda item 3. Is that correct? Moving on to agenda item 4, no tax cases on docket 19. No fair housing cases on agenda item 5, nothing on agenda item 6. On agenda item 7, we have no wage claim cases on docket 19 that are pulled for additional discussion.
You should have received the short form dissent for the wage claim cases. The short form dissent list for the wage claim cases on docket 19.
Move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on docket 19.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting, as reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 19.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for all the cases on which I am dissenting as reflected on the wage claim short form dissent list for docket 19.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. Let's move to agenda item 8, consideration of unemployment insurance cases. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case number 3621439, Commissioner Sparsa.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't dispute the good cause finding. Regarding job separation, the claimant admitted that he used the supervisor's passcode without authorization. Since the claimant had received 3 prior warnings, the claimant's discharge was consistent with the employer's disciplinary policy. The employer explained that the delay in discharging the claimant was due to the investigating staff member being assigned to other stores for 3 weeks. Consequently, the timing of the discharge was not too remote in time. Accordingly, because the claimant mismanaged his position of employment, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause for his non-appearance, misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
The decision should be modified. I agree that the claimant established good cause for missing the AT1 hearing due to an unforeseeable medical emergency, which prevented him from attending the hearing. Regarding the job separation, the claimant was discharged for allegedly violating the employer's financial transaction policy. The final incident occurred at the end of April, and the employer did not discharge the claimant until over a month later, with no clear explanation for the delay. Therefore, since the final incident was too remote in time to have been the proximate cause for the discharge, the claimant separation at the employer's convenience and for the reason other than misconduct connected with the work. Modify the AT, claimant had good cause for AT1, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
Good cause, misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
We have your short form dissent. Thank you.
Case number 3641337, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant, who was the only party to participate in either hearing, missed the AT1 because he did not initially realize that he was supposed to call in and register before the hearing start time. Rather, he called in right at the time of the hearing and was registered for the hearing within 4 minutes of the hearing start time. Since the claimant made a good faith effort to participate in the hearing, but was just a few minutes late in getting registered, he had good cause for missing AT1, and the case should be resubmitted for merits testimony from AT2. Reverse the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, resubmit.
The AT decision should be affirmed. Regarding good cause, the claimant failed to attend the hearing because he misunderstood the instructions on the hearing notice. This does not constitute good cause for the claimant's non-appearance. As to the job separation, disqualification is appropriate. The available record supports a finding that the claimant violated the employer's policy regarding notification of the employer having a second job, which amounted to misconduct connected with the work. We should therefore affirm the AT decision. The claimant did not have good cause for his non-appearance misconduct.
No good cause, misconduct.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Case number 3737098, Commissioner Sparsa.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't contest the good cause issue. So did the job separation. The claimant was terminated for his behavior during coaching session. While the claimant was being counseled for an incident involving the use of curse word in an email, the claimant became upset and uttered a disrespectful and demeaning statement against the supervisor. When the supervisor confronted the claimant upon hearing the remark, he became so visibly upset and belligerent, another coworker had to intervene to de-escalate the situation. Since the claimant actions were in clear violation of the employer's rules on maintaining professionalism. His actions constituted misconduct connected with work. As such, we should modify the AT decision, claimant established good cause for missing the AT hearing, misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response. The alternative, we could rehear the case to admit the employer's additional evidence and to question the employer's firsthand witness of the job separation. Therefore, rehear.
The decision is supportable. I agree that the claimant had good cause for missing AT1 due to not receiving the hearing packet in the mail. Regarding the job separation, the employer alleged that the claimant was discharged for being disrespectful in the workplace. The claimant provided credible firsthand testimony denying the allegations of misconduct or that the language he used was intended to be disrespectful or directed towards anyone specifically. Since the employer was unable to provide any direct evidence to support their allegations that the claimant's behavior violated any specific policy, the employer has not met its burden of showing that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, no misconduct, chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3816510, Commissioner Esparza.
We should affirm the AT decision. Claimant was discharged for failing to take proper actions when one of the minor patients under supervision went missing for an extended period of time. After rehearing this case, it was clear that there were inconsistencies in the claimant's account of the final incident. However, one thing has remained consistent. The claimant failed to report the missing patient to the charge nurse as required because the claimant had received 2 prior warnings, most recent less than 2 months before the final incident, for failure to follow the required procedure during her patient checks constituted misconduct connected with work. Affirm the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant was discharged for failing to follow the employer's policies regarding checking patients. However, the employer failed to provide any firsthand testimony to establish how the claimant's actions violated their policies. The claimant testified that she checked the patients in the proper time intervals, despite overseeing 14 adolescent patients by herself, which regulations required 2 employees to perform the checks. And that when one of the patients was not located during the check, she took steps to find the patient, including asking other employees for assistance. The employer fired the claimant because of the actions of the missing patient without providing any specific evidence as to how the claimant's actions violated known policies or procedures. Therefore, the employer has failed to show that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Misconduct, no chargeback.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Sure. That was the last full case for docket 19 UI cases. You should have received the short form dissent list for the remaining cases on docket 19.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 19.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting, as reflected on UI short form dissent list for docket 19.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I am dissenting is reflected in UI short form dissent list for docket 19.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. We'll take a short recess.
But they don't, looks like they donated like Yeah. Is that a peace offering or is that say that they traded it? Are they, or as other, as your fellow chairman of other commissions, are they telling you you need to be more heavy handed?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think I've used the gavel one time in 6 years, 5 years. I don't know. No, the block. I was suffering abuse at the hands of Mr. Cerna for never using my gavel, so I gavelled me close one time. I was on my, this was before the then burglaries started. Sort of. I don't know if it's breaking and entering. Mr. Jovan keeps letting me. Undecided, open spirit is others.
Plead the fifth.
Huh?
Plead the fifth.
Roman says I didn't die. Did he have a couple good? He's got a bunch of gals. It's like this.
Yes.
Worked in the wood shop, all of this out, I put a pin in the next slide. Or maybe a chain. That's just ridiculous for me.
Yeah, they're black tie.
Michelle. No, but we do need, can we get like a pine tar?
A little George Brett action.
Yeah. If I go past this, it's a leak. I promise you, there's probably some government code statute somewhere that does not pine tar. Oh. That makes a lot of fun. All right, but the rules about my videos are all the same. If anybody charges the pound, I'm going right. All right. This is agenda item 9, funding for chapter 133 apprenticeship training program for fiscal year 2026.
Good morning, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Trevino, Commissioner Esparza, and Mr. Cerna. For the record, Carrie Ballast, Workforce Development Division. For your consideration today are the fiscal year 2026 planning estimates for the Texas Education Code, Chapter 133, apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship training programs. Each year, the Texas Workforce Investment Council makes recommendations regarding the Chapter 133 program. The fiscal 2026 recommendations and the funding amounts, including a note regarding general revenue amounts, are listed in your notebook materials. As required by TAC Rule 837.21, with the Commission's approval, staff will provide public notice of funding available to support apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship training programs for FY 2026. This concludes my remarks. I am happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions?
None here.
No, Chair.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve fiscal year 2026 Texas Education Code, Chapter 133, apprenticeship training programs, funding, planning estimates, and program parameters as described in the discussion paper and presented today by staff.
I second.
Been moved and seconded. The motion carries. Thank you. Now, Jeff Peden is sitting in Michael Britt's chair, but he doesn't have a tie on, so I'm assuming you're not here, Jeff, to give a legislative report.
No, sir, that's
Thank you. Is there an executive director's report?
Just one thing today, Department of Labor's published a grant opportunity for Workforce Data Quality Initiative. They're gonna be awarding 5 grants, each about $2.5 million for agencies to use to enhance their data programs. We would like to submit an application for that. I3 believes that we can use this for supporting some of the improvements to our data availability, as well as upgrading some of our LMI tools and enhancements to the state's longitudinal data system. So if there's no issue that I need to discuss with y'all and bring this back, applications are due May 27th. So unless I hear otherwise, we're going to move forward with submitting an application in order to bring these funds down. Hopefully we'll be one of the states that receives them. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other order of business come before the commission?
Nope.
No?
Not for
Is
me.
there a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I move to adjourn.
I second.
Been moved, seconded to adjourn. We're adjourned.